Hey guys, this should be a really quick lesson. This is going to be on PHP functions. We went over functions in JavaScript and they're not much different in PHP. So what we need to do is go into our htdocs folder, which is our web folder, and I'm going to create a new file, a new folder called S5. Okay, so let's go to that in our browser. Okay, we have nothing there, so let's create an index.php file, and I can open this in Notepad++. And so let's create a very simple function. So we need our PHP tags, and we'll say function say hello. And as we know, we can use echo to print out to the screen. So we're just going to print out hello. Now this isn't going to do anything. If we go and reload, we don't see anything because we haven't called it. And to call it, we simply just have to write the name of the function with parentheses. Whoop. And no S. Alright, and I think I did this in the JavaScript, but we can add a parameter. We'll say it, and it'll take one parameter of word. So down here, well, gotta get rid of that. Down here we can say it, and we can put in a string here. Let's just put hello world. Okay, I can save that. And now we get hello world. Now we can have more than one parameter, so let's give this another one of word. So what we're going to do is echo the first word and then the last word right after it. So let's concatenate a space in between the two. This will be word 2. So let's put in 2 parameters. So these are going to be 2 strings that are separated by a comma. And the first one, let's say hello. And the next one, we'll say world. Undefined variable, word 2. Say it. Let's see, echo word 1. Oh, let's change this to, oh, we gotta have word 1 and word 2. Sorry about that. Alright, so now we have word 1 and word 2. Now, what if the person only puts in the first parameter? We get an error that's telling us that we're missing an argument. And an argument is just another word for parameter. So what we need to do is we need to create a default value for this, for the second parameter. And I showed you how to do that in JavaScript, and we put like a conditional that said echo word 1, and if it's not there, then echo the next word, or document.write a default word. So in PHP it's a little bit simpler. All we need to do is make this equal something. So a default will be world. Alright, so we can save this and we reload now, and it's given us our default word. Now what if we do enter the second parameter? If we do, let's say the next parameter will be Brad. That will overwrite the default parameter and give us Brad. Alright, so if we get rid of that, it goes back to world. Alright, so let's do a simple mathematical function. So let's call this function add, and it's going to take 2 numbers and all it's going to do is it's going to echo out num1 plus num2. So down here we can say add, and let's say 7 and 2. Now we don't need quotes because these are numbers, these are integers that are going to have, we're going to do arithmetic with these integers, so there's no quotes. So if we save that, reload, we get 9. Now a lot of times most of the time you don't want to output from your function. Okay, you don't want to have an echo inside of a function. Most times it's just bad practice. So what you would want to do usually in a case like this is you want to use return. Alright, so if we do this and we save, we get nothing. Return doesn't print it out on the screen, it just returns a value. So we can echo the actual function like this, and then we get our answer. Alright, so that's basic functions. I want to show you a couple other things in this section, and one of them is, you've seen it before, we've used the include function to actually include another PHP file. Well, we can also use require, and we can also use require once. So first we're going to go over include. So let's go to our S5 folder and create a new file and call it functions.php. And I want to open this up, and I want to take this. Now you might notice we don't have an ending PHP tag, but we don't need to, it's not needed. So I'm going to save this. Now I'm going to get rid of the inline function, and if I save this and reload, obviously I'm getting an error because I'm calling a function add, and we haven't declared this in this file, and we haven't linked any other file. So what we need to do is link the functions file, and we do that with include. So we can say include functions.php. Alright, so if we reload, now we get our 9. Now we can also use require. Okay, and we can also use require once. They all work. Now the biggest difference with these is how it handles errors, or how it handles if it can't find this file. If you use include, then if it can't find the file, the rest of the script will still go on. Alright, if you use require and it can't find the file, then the entire script halts and you'll just get an error. And I want to show you this real quick. So up here we're going to say include functions.php, and in my index.php all I'm going to do is echo out something. So I'm going to say I am in index.php. Alright, so I'm going to save, and in my functions file I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to say echo I am in functions.php. Okay, so if we reload, and actually I'm going to put a BR tag. If I reload, I have these two strings which are in different files. Now with include, let's do this. Let's change this to functions1. Alright, so it's looking for functions1, which is not there. It's not in my structure. All I have is index and functions. So if I save this and we go back and reload, you can see we get an error that says it can't find the file, but you can see this string is still echoing out. So my index.php is continuing even though that the include can't find functions1. Okay, so now if we change this to require and we save and reload, it gives us the error and everything stops. The rest of index.php doesn't continue. So That's the main difference between include and require. So what I want to do now is, we've talked about how to create functions and run them. I just want to quickly go through some of the common functions in PHP, functions that are here by default.